was talking to a friend of mine the other day about archetypes, and I've never studied archetypes um, in any conscious way. I don't think I want to because I don't want to know too much. I want a character. I want to write a character, and if the character goes on to embody an archetype or several, that's fine with me. But I don't want to start with an archetype or be thinking about how this character embodies this archetype, because then I'm getting in the way of the living, breathing character, hopefully on the page. But the thing that was interesting about it was that I started thinking about my main characters and how I think in almost every case, my main character is the fool. If there's an archetype, that's the one that I go for every time. There must be a reason for this. I don't want to keep you in suspense. I mean, to a certain extent, it's because I see any book I'm going to finish is going to be a comedy in my head. Doesn't mean it's necessarily obvious on the page. But to me, it's a comedy because if I don't see the laugh, if I'm not sitting here laughing at my own jokes when I'm writing, I'm not going to finish a year or 2 years working on a book. I will just get bored or miserable and throw it away. But the other thing is, I think fools are truly kind of important characters in a certain kind of way that very much appeals to me. Fools are either people who don't think they know something crucial, and by the end of the story usually come to discover that they do, or they're people that think they know more than they do and come to realize what they missed, what they didn't know, that they put themselves on a pedestal. And I think in an age of specialization where everybody's got their little niche and they are locked into this thing that they do, the fool is the only seeker left out there. The fool is the only guy who's still bubbling around trying to find it. And I think that's a very honorable position as a human being and as a character in a story. The other thing is that in most of the stories I tell, my main character is a fool for love. And that might be the only true path to get to love. The more I study this subject, the more I seek it, the more it seems that that's how we all come to it. You have to reach a point where you're letting yourself go, where you're totally out of control. And you're out there hanging over the cliff, not knowing if you're going to be making a complete ass of yourself or whether you're going to, get something wonderful. But you have to get over that cliff first, or you're not going to find out anything. And that's, again, to me, a very honorable position to be in. You have to be willing to let go of your own dignity. You have to be willing to let go of certainly any image you may have had of yourself, but you're seeking something that's bigger than you. And I think that's true of a character, whether they're doing it for love, or they're doing it for love of friends, or whether they're doing it for love of country. So I've got Paul in Green, who is a rather pompous TV guy who's fallen, who decides he's going to let himself become a kept man, and then can't quite go through with it, and then falls madly in love with somebody who rejects half of what he is, or what he thinks he is. You've got Greg in Mindbenders, who doesn't even speak at the beginning of the book, who's all caught up inside himself, bottled up, and who has to go through a process of just coming back out into the world. And at the same time that Ren is someone who, while he knows lots and lots of stuff, he has lots and lots of information, doesn't know people, is scared to death of people, and has to come out into the world also. So These are fools because we're all fools. If you look at your own life, the thing that you need is always the thing that's out of reach. And the thing that's out of reach is you have to seek. And if you're seeking, you're a fool. It's good to be a fool. And that is all I have to say on the subject.